President Obama and President Raul Castro, historic event, and there you see them.
So Rosa, as we continue to play this video, we're going to try to listen in for a moment.
But during the course of the last several months, there have been contacts between the U.S. and the Cuban government. And in December, as a consequence of some of the groundwork that had been laid, both myself and President Castro announced a significant change in policy and the relationship between our two governments.
Esta es una reunión histórica. Como saben ustedes, la historia entre los Estados Unidos y Cuba es una historia complicada. Complicada también por el hecho que ha habido desconfianza a lo largo de los años. Sin embargo, en los últimos meses hemos tenido contactos entre los Estados Unidos y Cuba. En diciembre del año pasado, el presidente Castro y yo anunciamos que íbamos a cambiar nuestras políticas hacia los unos hacia los otros.
I think that after 50 years of a policy that had not changed on the part of the United States, it was my belief that it was time to try something new.
The president there saying it is his belief that after 50 years of this incredibly strained relationship between the U.S. and Cuba, that it was, quote, time to try something new. Rosa Flores, I'm so glad we have you on the ground there in Panama, someone who has been to Cuba, reporting on the ground twice in the last 4 months after these relations have changed dramatically between these two nations. You know, earlier today, Rosa, the president did say there will continue to be significant differences between our two countries. So this is certainly not a mending of everything. There are differences. What are some of those key differences at this point that, even though we do have more normalized relations we're working towards with Cuba, what remain the difficult points?
You know, there are several, Poppy. Just think about a few things. So Cuba is a one-party state. It's a communist country. The United States, of course, represents a democracy and fights for democracy around the world. So that in and of itself, one of those contentions. There are groups in Cuba who still believe that there are human right violations in that country, and those people are very outspoken. And so the United States recognizes that there are some people who do feel oppressed in that country, and that's something that the United States speaks out against. And so those are just a few, you know, to mention about what the United States doesn't represent and what the United States speaks out against. Cuba, on the other hand, President Castro mentioning it today, saying that they're hoping to get respect. And so there's a lot of give and take in diplomacy, I think, and a lot of, you know, smiling afterwards and symbolic handshakes. But these are two different countries, two different ideologies. They stand for two different things, and they're hoping to mend those fences and hopefully have embassies here pretty soon. I know for a fact that one of the things that the United States is pushing for example, is for the embassy in Havana, for American diplomats to be able to travel freely within Havana, which they have not been able to do in the entrance section that's right there. And so, you know, it's little things like that they're negotiating. Now, I'm really curious as to the meeting that's happening right now and those questions, if they're going to ask him about the terrorism list, because that's one of the things that for Cuba has been one of their biggest contentions. They want to be removed from that list.